Welcome to the Openhand Shift Diaries, an informal viewpoint on the consciousness shift. For this first one, I thought we'd look at something I've been given to call the inflection point in the shift. What is that? What are its effects? And how might we deal with them? We're coming from an old consensus reality construct based on various karmic distortions, such as lack of trust in the divine, a disconnection from the divine, therefore trying to control reality, and also disrespecting other sentient life. And so this has been woven, if you like, from the field all around us, and it's also connected internally into our own distortions, our own karma. And we've been busily working through that, trying to realign and let go of this old construct, these old feelings, beliefs, this old karma. And Gaia provides the foundation of this consensus reality. But she's shifting now. She's centered her consciousness in the fifth density. And she's beginning to withdraw the light, if you like, as it raises in vibration into the higher paradigm. Now what this is going to do is it's going to pull on the very foundations of the old reality. And it'll affect everyone. It'll affect all our thoughts, feelings, emotions. Even if people don't fully understand what the shift is about, nor the inflection point, even if they don't understand it, they will feel a sense of anxiety, perhaps, concern, worry, fear, insecurity, as the old reality begins to unwind and unravel. And there'll be a hanging on in that place and trying to secure what they've known to be real for them. And so you hit this point in the middle called the inflection point, where the light is moving to the higher paradigm, but also in the old consciousness there are people pulling back to the old status quo. So you have this kind of fuzzy grey area in the middle. And that's a very challenging place to be. It has some powerful effects. So firstly, one of the things you're probably likely to experience is judgment and projection from others. It's because as you start to raise your vibration, as you realign and come into your soul and your highest truth, and the expressions of that, as you come into that, you provide a mirror, a reflection to people all around you. You're showing people how to trust, how to connect with the divine, how to flow with signs and synchronicity. And they don't want to live like that because that challenges the very nature of what they've believed in. And a lot of people are very resistant to change. And so that reflection you present can be very threatening. And so what people tend to do then is shoot the messenger so they don't have to really listen to the message. So the first thing you're likely to experience around you is a lot of judgment and projection. How do we deal with that? The first thing I think is not to make people wrong, not to make their truth an untruth, because it's real for them. And so it's allowing them to have that, to experience that, and express it too if they're going to. Not to try to defend yourself, because in defending yourself, then it creates internal doubt. So, important not to defend yourself, important not to make them feel wrong, and just settle into your truth, knowing what's real for you. Hold the space. Let the distortion, the judgment unwind of its own accord. Don't fight it. That's the first thing I think which is essential. The second thing is, at key times, your guidance may well feel like it's switched off. This is because we're passing through a vortex of energy. And at times it's going to feel like passing through the eye of a needle. And so there'll be a constriction in the field that you may well feel internally. And so it'd be difficult to pick up the guidance in the way that you always have or known it. At this point, it's essential to slow down and really do those things which keep you tuned in, whether that's walking in nature, whether it's meditation or yoga or conscious dance or whatever it may be. Important to keep doing those things which you know tune you in as much as you possibly can. Even if times get busy and hectic, important to stop, pause, just for a few moments here and there, tune in, reconnect, remind yourself what this is really all about. And the guidance will kick in again, surely enough. There will also come times when you feel like you're being pulled in two different directions. Why is that? Well, it's because we manifest, reflect externally, not just our higher self attributes, but also the karmic distortions that we have. So the karma will also create a pathway for exploration and evolutionary growth to unwind and unravel it. So you'll feel like that's creating a certain direction, but your higher truth is also wanting to create in the new way, the new paradigm. How do you deal with this? Well, the important thing is not to try to resolve the problem, not to try to make some kind of logic-based choice, and instead just completely accept it. Accept that you don't know. Now that's going to create tension, tightness, frustration, fear, anxiety inside. And the important point is not to override these feelings, but to get right into them, feel into them, and express them too. Express them out into the world. Take yourself off into nature maybe, or in your room or whatever it may be. Play some music, dance, whatever it may be that causes you to get into the feeling and express it. Now it's also important at this point that you go internal too. So it's not just letting the expression fully out and disconnecting with what you feel inside. Because we're wanting to touch the karmic source pain and really get into that so that we can unravel it. And so as you come into that with a ever increasing deeper acceptance to such a degree that you don't need it to go away. You don't need the challenge, the problem, the tightness to go away. Now when you reach this point, you really are truly fully accepting it. And that's when it brings you into, this surrender brings you into the sense of presence, the sense of at-one-ment with the experience, the sense of at-one-ment with the divine. Really, because as you reduce the separation from the experience, you reduce the polarity and you become the one through that. And that's what we're really looking for, because that's who you really are. It feels like just total being. It's like the moment the time slows down and the moment expands and you come into that. Now this is when you're really breaking through this challenge, this karma, whatever's coming up for you at this time in the inflection point. So be in that, feel into that, soften, surrender into that, and you'll touch the one in it. Now at this point, something truly miraculous can happen, will happen, and that is an arising of soul, authentic beingness. It's not necessarily going to tell you what to do immediately. The key thing is, how are you being invited to be? And to feel that, whether it's strong, passionate, willpower, courage, calmness, surrender, diplomacy, all these kinds of things, feel the quality of being coming through that feels like a sense of rightness in that moment. And then really come from that expression. And just being that alone will start to determine the steps you take. And as you take a step in truth, the fascinating thing is the whole landscape begins to then shift and change in unpredictable ways. Each step you take, it changes, evolves, and something new happens. It feels like walking a path of light forwards. And this is the movement of consciousness the movement of light toward and into the higher paradigm, which we can live here and now and embody that and feel that, experience that, and benefit from it. So this then is the inflection point. It's really clear to me that we're passing through it, the shift from the old paradigm into the new and the crossover. These are some of the effects you're going to feel, likelihood is, and how to deal with them. Above all, remember why you began this and what it's really all about. It's about our self-realization. It's about actualizing, expressing who we really are. And if we do that, we'll pick up the flow and everything is going to be absolutely fine. Thank you for tuning in.